Okay. Now you have this uh, example. So where do you write that? You will write in a new test case. Okay, it's a new class. Right click, new class name. Okay, where should I be doing it? Git branch. Check out products. Okay, so it should be in the. So you should not do it in the main master branch. That's what my point is. Test products. Okay, and what is the first step you need to do? Extends base test or test base. Okay, next one you have to write a new test case. Public void verify create product with image. Okay, and now at the rate test should contain groups, because like based on groups only you will execute. Okay, so while adding the groups you can add this into multiple groups, not only a single group. Okay, so regression and then auto it is the separate group that we wanted to keep. After that, description equals to uh, verifying create new product image. Okay, so this is my first step. So what are the code that we need to add? Uh, this code is common, right? Which is that login successful. And also we consider to write few more things, right? Thread author. Mm, just leave it. You can add the this one also. What is the ID of your Quasar? This one, right? Test ID. This one. And logger you need to add. And you should not be adding the test base dot class. Here it should be test marketing. Okay. Now, okay. So login is successful. It is done. And the second step that you need to do is, once it is login, what I want to do is I want to click on the products, right? I want to click on products. So what do I do? I can see here, I click on catalog, I click on products. For that, what I have in the dashboard page, I'll write a new method which is called as public void click on products. You see, what do you see here is there are 20, 30, 40 kinds of links that you have to click. For every one, you want to write a new method. But what internally it has, the small change that we have to do is the name of the uh, category or name of the catalog. Okay, so Actually, what I can do here is I can write a reusable method still to use for every all these particular changes. Okay, so please see careful. This is very the new thing that I am doing here. Okay, so what I do is instead of click on product, okay, so I can write click on uh, navigation navigation page, and you provide string name. Okay, you provide the name. What I can do here is I can do this. That means whatever the name that you pass, okay, let's say if I pass catalog, okay, that means it will click on catalog. If I pass extensions, if I it clicks on extensions. If I pass sales, it clicks on sales. Okay, so that kind of thing that I can do. Okay, now you see coupons. In order to click on coupons, how many times that I have to, how many data that I need to pass? Two lines of data, because what is marketing, another one is coupons. Okay, so how do I do that? See here, the first one is straightforward. I can do like this. And this for the second one, then I need to give this. Okay, and a string subname. Okay, so now the marketing is the like first name, and then instead of coupons, what I can do is subname. Okay, so now if I use click on navigation page and I provide, let's say, if I provide name is marketing and subname is coupons, what it is going to do, it's going to click on I'm just seeing. Yeah, it's going to click on coupons. So let me try that. Okay. Or test products we have, right? In the test products, where do I want to click? First, I need to create dashboard. Okay, I'm just clicking on this. Okay, so dashboard page, and the dashboard page door. Navigate, click on navigation page. What navigation? Let's say first one is here, choose which one you want to click. Catalog, right? So first one is catalog. Okay. What is the second one? Second one is like you have products. Okay, so now you see if I run this, okay, based on my whatever the data that I pass here, driver executable does not exist. Okay, the wrong thing that I've done. Yeah, I made some mistakes there because whatever the changes that we have done here, everything that you will not get Chrome driver.exe, right? If it is Windows only, you will get Chrome driver.exe. So whatever the changes that we made here, they are not correct. Okay. See, somehow somebody made did some changes which is breaking the system. See, now whatever the changes that I made in my previous commit, now it break the system or breaking the test cases. So because like for window, for Mac you will not see chrome driver.exe. For Mac it's only chrome driver. All right. So that kind of what we done, when it is Windows it will work, but when it is Mac it is not going to work, Mac or Linux. So that change I want to revert back. Revert back means I don't need the recent change, I need previous change. Okay. So that can be done. Status. So these are the fine changes that I have done. Let it be git logs, git log. Okay, where these logs we have now. Yeah, updating changes for driver path according to pull request 3. So these changes I don't need. So before that, what is the commit that we have used? This commit, right? So can use git checkout paste. Okay. Actually, what happens here is you are in detached state. You can click around, like commit them, and you can discard any commits without impacting any other branches. Okay. So second. Yeah, I'll take a separate session for this to make to how to revert those changes. Right now, I'll change. What I'll do is I'll do it in normally. Okay. Okay. So I'm just changing back my changes. That's why. One second, please. Okay, so now that's why common practice is whatever the changes that you make, you cannot directly merge those changes. Okay, first you have to test internally. That means you have to run in your local branch in the Jenkins first, make sure that they are working. Then only you have to merge these changes. Okay, so that is the impact. You might understand now what happens if you don't test the changes that you have made and directly do the push. Okay, so it will impact everybody. If somebody else is looking into my or if somebody else get the latest code and start executing it, he fails the, like, the cases will fail from his end, and he don't know the reason immediately. He has to look into, because he don't know the what changes that has been made. So that is an extra effort that we have to keep, or he has to keep and fix the things. So generally, if you don't test your changes and then push into the repository, then if that is breaking any existing code, it will be a serious offense. Generally, you this things will be escalated. Okay, so we should be careful on that. Now I was, yeah, you don't have this exe and you don't have this exe, and okay, yeah, I have made some changes which starts working these changes again. Now we test our code that we have written. What changes that I have done, instead of using different methods, we should use only one method, and we pause the things. Okay. Now see what happens. Localhost opencard admin, and this is because like my application.properties does have app.properties having different URL, so which is not in our case, and then credentials to user. Only one. Okay, so that's why it is failing. Now let me write one more time, run one more time. So you should be able to understand like what is the problem by seeing the message, like logs and stack traces. Okay, see, it clicked on products. Okay, it clicked on products. Now for the two things, that's fine, but if you see catalog and then products, instead of that, like you have attributes, inside the attributes you have another attributes. In this case, what you're going to do, if you want to click on that, then what you can do is you can do this: click on navigation page, and you write overloaded method of navigation page. Okay, uh, string child name. Okay, so and you add one more this. How do you identify the third one? Okay, if you see, you want to identify this one. So previous one, so how did I identify $x? This one, right? Here you have catalog, and then here you have attributes. Okay, so when you say attributes, you have two attributes. The first attribute is the one that it is this one, okay, that it will click, but the next one is also attributes. I want to click on the third one. Okay, these attributes I want to click. How do I do that? For that I need one more slash following hyphen sibling colon ul double slash a. Okay, contains, this is a bit longer, but it makes your case easy to understand. Now attribute groups, this is attribute groups, this one it will identify. Okay, and if you want to use attributes, you can use attributes, it will identify the third one. Okay, third one is identified. Now this is the locator that I have to add for the third one. Now what happens here is the name is replaced here, and then the subname is replaced here, and the child name should be at the end after this one. So what I need to do is one more this following sibling. Just write it down. Following sibling anchor tag, and then contains text comma, this is the value. So actually value will be a variable, that's why you have to give this one. Okay, control shift F. So please remember, control shift F, what it will do is it will format your file. Okay, so all the spaces and then tabs, it will take care of it. Control shift F. So that's what you have to use. Now you see everything can be seen in this single page. Now child name, name, and then sub name. Okay, so all these things are covered. Now if I want to click on anything which is having three three layers, let's say click on this attribute groups. Okay, if I want to click on attribute groups, how do I do that? uh, Catalog. The second one is attributes, and then third one is attribute groups. Right now, run as testing test. See, attributes groups has been clicked. Okay, let me check one more. System users. Okay, system users. What do I do now? Here, system users is users, and third one is users. Right click, run as test and test. The users has been clicked. That is, the page is coming. So this is single method. Okay, single method will take care of everything. Okay, all the clickings, left hand side, sidebars, all the buttons can be, or the links can be clicked using this single method. Okay, so I told you to use this method. Click on navigation page, and is it the best phase you have? You can use? No. Okay, you cannot like this. This still can be improved. Okay, this method. Why? Because let's say how frameworks has to be designed is whenever people come. Okay, so you design a framework, and you, like, you have 2 3 people under you, or colleagues, they want to automate the cases. Now they got one test case which is saying that go to the users and create a user. Now you should not be writing the code for driver dot find element, and then what is the locator for catalog, what is the locator for what is this or system. Okay, what is the locator for users, and then what is the locator for users. You should not be able to, you should not write that. Okay, because these are static ones, they do not change. You should be, as a framework designer, you should be able to give a provision for him to easily go to the actual test case that he has to test. All these navigations has to be done or taken care by your framework before giving to him. Okay, so that's why the reason for that is you have just written one reusable method. Click on navigation page or navigation links. I should change it as navigation links. Navigation tab link or navigation. Okay, something like that. And I created this method for him to easily access. So all he needs to do is he have to get the, what is this string names here. Let's say if you want to, if he wants to go to Google Shopping or your store, what he has to do, has to type marketing, he has to type Google, he has to give Google Shopping, and he has to give user store. Okay, that he has to do it manually. And while giving, let's say he's trying to give Google Shopping in the marketing, let's say he gave like this, marketing. Okay, and then Google Shopping and then your stop. So something like that he has given. This is, he gave it manually, right? Like you are just provisioning the method, and he can give any strings that you want. He can pass any strings. That's why what he done is, he, whatever the strings that he provided, it got some problem. It is not matching with the things that it is available here. Okay, so that's why what it is saying, like Google Shopping here, yes should be capital, but the mistake he gave in the small letter. Okay, Google Shopping, and that you don't want to do that. Okay, that you don't want to give him an option to pass a wrong value. Okay, so that's why what things that we have in our uh, see, it is failed. The failure reason for that is no such element exception. Which element is not available? Say marketing, and then followed sibling by Google Shopping. Small yes, this is not available. That's why it is failing. So you don't want to give that option to user who writes this test case using our reusable methods. Now for that is, like, this is the strings, right? Okay, so strings can be any strings that you can pass. Instead of any strings that we provide, instead of that we provide the list of strings to use. Okay, the values that we provide to those strings. Okay, that's then we can ensure that they are, whenever they use this string, the always the value will be the value that we want to send. Okay, so you have to create some variables with the names of whatever the tabs that you have there, or links you have there. Okay, so generally those strings, what we have to define is, we have to define them as a constants. Okay, so you have to define them as a constants. When it is in constants, let's say what I do is I just create a classes. Okay, for now, actually constants also the not ideal. This is one step up, so that's why I use this in the dashboard page. In the dashboard page, I define the constants. The constants always should be public, final, static, final, string. You have to give the name of the string. Let's say name of the string is catalog. Always your constant should be in the capital letters. That is a common practice. What is the value that you have here? Catalog. And what this final keyword will do is, if you use final keyword before a variable, the value of the variable cannot be changed by anybody. Okay. And static means it can be used directly with the help of page itself. Okay, now what he has to do is, he has to provide, instead of let's say marketing, right? I need to do this. You should not make them. mm, I'm just checking that there is an option to make them as uppercase. No. Okay, so all he needs to do is here dashboard page dot marketing. Okay, and Google Shopping. Okay, Google Shopping. Then your store. So here, whenever you use constants, if you come across a space, you should replace it with the underscore. Okay. Now, what else we have here? Marketing. Marketing coupons. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'll make this 5 only. Okay. Here, what I do is instead of Google Shopping, what I do dashboard page dot Google Shopping, and then dashboard page dot marketing. Sorry, your store. Now, if I run this program, what I can do is I can see this. Whoever comes and try to see your store, it's clicked on your store, and whoever comes to this framework and all the navigations that they want to do is what they simply want to do is uh, let's say if they want to go to the coupons. Okay, what do you have? They don't need to worry about right getting these things there. So what they can do is coupons. Okay, it's in dashboards, marketing, and then it's in coupons, right? What they simply do is they'll write something like this. Go to the marketing, then go to the coupons, and then that the third one is not needed, right? So it just okay. So as products, right click, run as tested. So it's simply clicking on coupons. Okay, so this is one good approach that we can follow, which is using the constants. But still, there is a catch here. Okay, what that is they can be some extra talented people. They don't want to use your things. They want to supply their own strings. Okay, so that is quite common. People want to use their own head. Okay, so the extra head. See now what happens, it does not able to click on coupons. Okay, because you are allowing them to send a string. Okay, you are allowing a send a string, and you just what they want, what you are doing is you are providing an information says that instead of using your own strings, you can use the existing constants. But he is not using, and he said its own what messages or strings, and it get failed. So you want to restrict that too. You don't want to create, you don't want to send them uh, the data apart from what you wish to send. Okay, so for that, what we have is there is a new concept available for us. The next step of constants, which is called as enums. Enums. Okay, so how enums work is it's similar like a class, but all the things that we have in enums is a constant. So it stores the data. Okay, let me take one enum. Instead of class, I can choose enum itself. Enum. The enum name that I give is week Like, let's say, assume that it's a weekday. Now, what you have is in weekday, you have 7 values, right? So those 7 values, what I can do is I can define as a constant: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Okay, so these are the enum values. Okay, enum values that you have defined. So there are 7 constants you have in this enum. Okay, how it can be used is, I'll take a small example. Mm, public Okay, here what we have is, I just want to print a weekday, whatever the value of weekday, I just want to print. Okay, so now string. I think I have this code somewhere. Just give me a second. So instead of that, if I use enums, then I can directly use them. So I don't, they cannot, like the users cannot provide the data whatever they want. Okay, what they can choose is whatever the data that we provide, out of them, then them only they can choose things. Okay, so now how I can do that is, mm, I create a new enum. See, there is this. This is a sample enum with zero arguments. All the constructor is zero argument constructor. So it's a plain and simple. You can see this like this. Where it can use is the select options. I'll show you the usage of this enum. In the pages, you have base page. Okay, in the base page you have an option called select option method. Okay, so select option method. This select option method, if you see, there are 3 parameters it is taking. One parameter is by object, another parameter is an option, and the third one is option type. Select options. This is an enum. Okay, how it can be used is, let's say public void select uh, contest driver dot not select. Okay, select option. The select option you need to pass the by object, by dot xpath or by dot id. What is the id? Some abc is the id. And what is the option you have? Let's say you want to select some India country. So you know that, right? What is a drop down? So drop down is like select a country, and you click on that, you will see all the countries, and you select one of the country. That's a drop down, and the element that you can get by using by object, and then the selection object that you can take is India. What is this India? So in select, you have select by ID or select by index, select by visible text, right? So that option you have to take. Here you cannot say you want to select by visible text. Okay, so you cannot say this like this, or you cannot say text. You cannot send your own string here, because the third option it takes is, okay, the select options type. You have to create the, you have to select, you have to provide the options in this one only. So like select options dot, see, you see three options: index, text, value. So you are restricting the end user to use only one value out of these three. Apart from these three, you cannot send anything. Okay, so that kind of restriction that you can enforce here. Okay, let's say I want to use it for text. Now you see, select by ID, country, India, select option, and you are passing the text. So what does this text is contains? It does not contain any value. Okay, if you see here, this cell, this does not contain any value text. So what it will be mapped in your code is, see, there is this switch, okay, and you, whatever the value that you pass, it will come here. It matches with the case, whether it's a text or index or value. If it is a text, this one will be performed, this operation will be performed. Okay, so this enum values, or a value in a enum does not contain any, need not to contain any data. So whatever the enum that you pass, if it matches with any of this case, that case will be executed. Okay, that is one example. Now, yeah, you see, that is complicated. Now you see, there is like this value. Okay, Chrome, Firefox, and Internet Explorer, Android, and iOS. Now, if you see, Chrome does not have any value inside it, and Firefox does not have any value in the brackets, that is a constructor, and but Internet Explorer has a value. Now, what you can do is, you have like two kinds of enums you have. One is zero argument constructor enum, and another one is one argument constructor enum. Okay, so wherever you pass this browser, this browser should be able to handle those two constructors. That's why you have defined one constructor here and the other constructor here. In zero argument constructor, if you don't pass any value, the string variable browser will be initialized with the toString value. ToString means this Chrome will be converted into a string. This enum will be. It's nothing but in all small letters, it's a or returns the name of enum constant as contained in the declaration. So though it typically isn't necessary or desirable. Okay. Now the next one is browser with a variable. So if you use Internet Explorer, this value will be saved into this browser and eventually into this browser. Okay, so somebody, if you want to use any custom value for your enum, they pass it as a parameter. Okay, that parameter you can retrieve through constructor, and you can create a local variable and you can assign it. And what you can do is, you can create public methods which will return the value. Let's say whatever the value that you want to get from Internet Explorer, all you need to do is get browser. You call the get browser, and the Internet Explorer value will be returned. And if you see here, users have three or four parameters. Okay, so now your constructor is 2 parameter constructor, 3 parameter constructor, 4 parameter constructor. So if you use get username, it will return username, get password, get first name, get last name. All those values will be returned. Okay, so now leave this. Okay, what I want to do here is I will be doing a constructor. I'll update this navigation link. Instead of using strings, I'll use a constructor. Sorry, I'll use a enum. What enum do I use? Navigation or navigation tab. Let's say tab. So this navigation tab is a enum which I'm going to define. Right click new enum navigation tab. This navigation tab will have, see now I don't, right now what I do is, I want to click on, let's say market coupons for example. Okay, what I am doing is, I am doing a constant value coupons. So now let's say I want to click on your store. Okay, and you see, let's say API. Let's say you have error logs. Okay, so these values I directly define, and in my dashboard, what they have to do is, here instead of I pass that individual values, 3 values, 2 values, all I pass is navigation tab dot, let's say coupons. If I pass these coupons, what it is going to do is, it should click on coupons. So before that, it should click on marketing, and then it should click on coupons. Let's say if I use your store, okay, if you want to click on your store, so what you should do, marketing it has to click, and Google Shopping it has to click, and your store it has to click. So all these 3 values you have to like provide that in the same enum. Okay, so this is very easy, right? Navigate tab dot, you will get here itself, you will get all the available options. The user can choose one of these options, and then he can select it. You don't even no need to go to page and identify what all the things we have. Okay, so that's the advantage of using the reusable methods. Okay, so now what you have to write here, for this tab, you may have, sometimes you need, sometimes you will need name and subname, sometimes you need name, subname, and child name. All 3 names you have need. Okay, so that's why what you need to do is here private string name. Okay, private string subname, private string child name. Okay, all 3 values will be supplied here, and then you will have public return get name. So this method should return name. Okay, and subname child name. So now you see here what he can do here is like instead of name tab dot get name. Okay, whatever the value that you have here in the tab, you will get tab dot get name. Okay, and subname, what? How do you get? Tab dot get subname. Okay, so the same thing. Tab dot get subname and tab dot get child name. Okay, so you got these three, right? You get these three clicks that you have identified. Now, see here, what you get is when you return, when you call get child name value, what it is an empty. It you get, you will receive a null value. Okay, you will receive a null value. Now, instead of null value, what I need to do is I need to set up these three values based on these coupons or based on your store. So how do I do that is, for that you need to construct, you need to have the constructor. Let's say take the coupons. In order to do the coupons, you need to pass two values. One value is, in order to click on coupons, one value is marketing. That value you need to pass. Marketing and then coupons. For your store, you need to pass three values. So what are the three values? Marketing and Google Shopping. The third one is your store. Actually, this has to map with name, this has to map with subname, and this has to map with child name. So that's the idea of being writing these things. Okay, API, system users API. System users API. Okay, and for the error logs, maintenance. Okay, so these are one-time activity that you have to keep it like this. And now you see this enum has zero argument constructor. It cannot take more than zero arguments until unless you define the constructor. So how do you define a constructor? You define a constructor like this. Public navigation tab. Okay, this navigation tab has two things, right? String name, string subname. Okay, now this dot name equals to name. This dot subname equals to subname. Okay, so actually the constructor has to be defined. This constructors should be private constructors, okay, not the public constructors. Okay, so see these two has been handled, and there are two other errors, like you have to write one more constructor with three values. Dot string is dot child equals to this is the constructor that works. Now, whenever you pass values here, let's say test products. Now, navigation tab dot your store. What it will do, your store will have marketing, Google Shopping, and your store. Then what it will do here, this tab will get the name that will be typed first click, and get name and subname that will be click second and third. Okay, so right click, run as test engine test. You see it worked, but there is a small catch here that you have to understand, which is, let's say I want to click on coupons. What I do, okay. Now it clicked on coupons, but what happened here is it's still executing and it's trying to click on the third one, which is having null. So because you have written 3 clicks right here, dashboard page, the first click, second click, and third click. So third click is having get child name is empty because coupons does have only, this coupons has only 2 values. The third child value is null. Okay, so that's why what it is saying, it's failed, unable to locate the element. It is the third one, the null. With the null, it is not able to identify. So what we need to restrict here is, if it is having only 2 values, let's say marketing and coupons, if the child name is null, you should not click on the third one. Okay, so that restriction you have to make. How do I do that? Here, if tab dot get child name not equals to null, then only do this. Okay, if you don't do that, then it will not, like, if you don't check this, then it's going to fail at that level. So you should be handling all these scenarios. Okay, right click and ask this. So it's coupons and your test case is also passed. That's how you use enums. Now, what I do is, okay, I'll stop here today, and I'll tell tomorrow, I'll write example tomorrow. But meanwhile, what you need to do is you need to complete the yesterday's, like last week's assignment, and also practice this enums example. Okay, so these 2 things that you have to do. Okay.